Hello and welcome to the Good Imaginations podcast. Tonight we will journey to the fairy house, where you can unwind, reorient yourself, and, if you'd like, fall fast asleep. Before we begin our adventure, make sure you're settled. If you are seated, get comfortable. Listen to your spine and relax your shoulders. If you are lying down, get your covers and pillow where you want them. Create your nest. Very good. Now, take 3 deep breaths with me in preparation for the journey ahead. Let go of your day and travel to a vacation for your mind. Imagine with me. See, smell, and be present. Breathe with me now. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Slow and even. 1, 2, 3. Very good. Now, shut your eyes and let's drift off to the site of tonight's adventure. You decide to go on a stroll to your favorite part of the forest. It is a beautiful day, cool but not cold. The wind is refreshing. The scent of the pine trees is everywhere. The sky is a rumbling, rainy kind of blue, but the day is still bright. The colors around you seem sharper today, and you feel a bit of good luck accompanying you as you make your way deep into the forest. This is a profoundly friendly forest. Deep. It goes back for miles, but it's never been spooky or harsh. As silly as it sometimes feels to admit to yourself, this forest seems magic. It always has. The moss and small blue flowers have always seemed so kind. There's a section deep into the forest towards the east that you call the Cathedral of Pines, because of the way the sunlight streams like gold through the tall red-brown trunks of the trees. The trunks seem like columns, sentinel angels guarding a holy, peaceful, entirely good place. Whenever you step into the Cathedral of Pines, you feel like you're protected from all the evil in the world, that here is a place where no evil can exist, like your regrets have been washed away by the light. It's truly beautiful when cottonwood seeds come sailing into the Cathedral of Pines, lit by the sun. They blaze like tiny sparkles of magic. That's why, deep down, you feel like the forest is magic. You feel like you've seen evidence of it, sailing through the cathedral, almost like fairies. It is a peculiar thing, but when you step into the quiet glen, you begin to shrink. You gaze up at the swirling green leaves above. You find yourself delicately growing smaller. You feel like a plant in reverse. It is a soothing feeling. You are not afraid. You find that the sky is bigger, the sun is larger, that the forest around you is even more of an immense cathedral. You are becoming small. You don't know why or how it's happening, but suddenly you are only 4 inches tall. You stand on the pale green moss. Turning around, you realize that you have wings. You have become a fairy. A small, winged version of yourself. Suddenly, you feel as though you are a part of the forest, at home in the forest, as much a part of it as the leaves of the trees. You look over your shoulder and you see that your wings are bright green with veins, like a new spring leaf. You stand up on tiptoe, and with a great thrust of your wings, you float up into the air. Your stomach bounces, weightless, and you stare at the curling green moss that just a moment before had been covered by your shoe. Now it is larger than you are. You lie down on the moss and stare up at the sky, and you feel like a flower, something small and without worry, that can simply enjoy the sun. You are not worried, not in the slightest. You have a profound sense that you can stop being a fairy anytime you wish, and that you can come in and out of this state of being, almost like falling asleep. Perhaps you are falling asleep, but a different kind of sleep, an elevated, wondrous kind of rest brought to you by the forest. Your human heart and mind can rest while you explore this place as a tiny creature with bright, shining wings. Finally, you get up. When you do, your wings rush with blood and life, and you find that it's easier to flutter along the ground than simply stand still. You fly deeper into the glen, and here you notice things that were never visible to you before. The slant of golden sun reveals a small red door in the trunk of the tree. Tiny, sparkling latticed windows. There is a little walkway of pebbles. It is all the right size for you. You fly up to the door and knock. You feel silly knocking, because you have a sense that the door is for you, that the room beyond is for you. When no one answers, you open the door, and it is quite empty, except for a hammock made out of spider threads. The threads aren't sticky, they are smooth like silk, and they glimmer like moonlight. The hammock hangs from the ceiling, which has tiny wooden beams, and the hammock almost brushes the floor, which is polished wood. Outside, through the small latticed windows, green leaves bob, bright in the sunlight. There's a simplicity to the room, as though the only things that matter are being dry, having a place of your own, and a small, nearly invisible hammock in which you can feel weightless and small and tucked away from the world. You shut the door. You find yourself yawning. Even as a fairy, you are tired. You'd like to lie down and sleep here. Imagine how safe you would be, tucked into a home inside an enormous tree. No one could find you through a magic red fairy door at the base of a tree. And it would be so nice to have a space that had been carved out just for you. As though they know that it is time to go to sleep, the wings on your back fold gently. They cushion you like a huge green leaf as you lie down in the hammock. You are surprised to find yourself in the hammock in the first place, as though you didn't really mean to stay in it very long. Just to test it out, perhaps. You find, however, that the hammock feels just right. It supports you wonderfully. You sway back and forth, and you find your head tipping to the right. You shut your eyes halfway, and your breathing slows, warm and calm. You stare out the window at the green forest beyond. You spot ferns and flowers, but they are close to you, large, sheltering you in their garden-like magic. You stay this way for several moments, swaying back and forth. You let one of your legs dangle off the side, and a pleasantly cool breeze blows over it. The rest of you is warm, like your wings are a heated blanket, pulsing with just the right amount of cozy warmth. It is nice to be your own source of heat, like you are a light. You feel restful, at peace. You turn your head and gaze out the window again, and this time you find that your head seems to have grown heavier, like it's full of a quiet ocean now, an ocean of sleep. Your eyes flutter. You gaze out at the forest. How lovely it is to be here at ground level with the ferns, as they blaze pale green in the sunlight. How wonderful to hear the birds chirping, and the river gurgling, and the branches sighing, and know that you are a part of this forest now, quiet and a part of it. You feel like the same life force that flows through the forest is now flowing through you. And it is so kind. It will watch over you as you sleep. Slowly, and without worry, you drift off to sleep.